just talk about something that kind of it's been like on my mind all day because it's something that I noticed today. Facebook. For starters, for people who don't know, and this is like one of the first videos of mine that you're watching, I am a FTM transgender male. I haven't started hormones or anything yet, but I'm kind of just past that point in my life where everyone who's in my life is referring to me by my name and the pronouns that I would like, And it's great. It's like I never could have asked for anything better. Like my whole family is accepting and they're actually really encouraging and loving. So like that's the most that I could have ever asked for from them. But the problem, it's not really a problem. It's more almost like a goal that I'm going to set for myself. And that goal is to not react to my birth name. It might just be because it's not even been a whole year since I've been out, and only a couple months since we've made the steps to get everybody who's in my life using my name. But my birth name was a fairly common girl's name, and I hear it a lot in other people's conversations that have nothing to do with me at all. So they're not talking to me, they're not using it as a name for me, they're using it as someone who that's their name, and that's what they want to go by. So it's not anything on their part. But I noticed myself reacting to it and thinking, oh, they're talking to me. No, that's not my name. That's not my name anymore. So it was just something. I was almost maybe wondering if like anyone else has dealt with it, and if or when that goes away, if or what, like how long it takes to get over that knee-jerk reaction of responding to your birth name. Because I went by that for 23 years, at least with my family I did. 24 years, actually, because I'm 25 this year. So, like, obviously it's 24 years of rewiring my own brain to respond or to stop responding to it. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it just feels, I don't know, it's similar to dysphoria. The feeling of responding to it. Like, at first I was like, oh, it's like, it's hard to explain. And thinking back on it, I'm like really upset at myself for turning to look at who called me when they weren't talking to me at all. They don't even know my birth name. The person who said this doesn't even know my birth name. It was in a setting where I was completely surrounded by people who did not know my birth name. Like, they just don't know it because they've never wanted to know. And even if they did, I probably wouldn't tell them. So it's like, I don't know, it's just interesting. And I'm wanting to start doing these kind of like little short vlog things about things that happen so that I can look back on it and just remember what I went through and stuff. Just kind of on a little bit of a happier note, I guess. Last week or yesterday was Dayton Pride, and I was there. And it was my first Pride ever, because it was the first one after I was out that has come up. And it was a lot of fun. I went with my church, so I wasn't like walking around looking at stuff. I did a little bit, but most of the time I was in the children's area at a face painting booth, so that was fun. But like we were setting up. We hadn't even started yet, and there were already protesters there. I don't think there were ever more than 3. Which I find hilarious. That, you know, like, if you're gonna go through all this trouble, you're obviously the ones not gonna be heard. There's only 3 of you, and there's hundreds of people meeting for this thing. So, anyways, it was slightly amusing, but also really disheartening, because we were the children's area. That was the place they set up first, was in the children's area. And just hearing scripture twisted and used in that way was really disheartening. Though there was one little boy who was with my group the whole time, and as soon as he saw him, he was all like, "I'm gonna go like fight him," and I was like, "No, you can't do that. Like, that's like, they have their right to be idiots, and you know, we have to let them. You know, they have their rights, we have ours. You know, they aren't physically hurting us, so we can't physically hurt them. So, but it's, yeah, like, I don't know. I've been at that church for almost a year now, and he's been there. That little kid has been there since I've been there. So, like, before I've been there. So I'm kind of watching him grow up a little bit. He's only 10 years old, and just that he's already around that kind of extreme right side hate and misuse of scripture is, anyways. So yeah, I guess that's a little update. I guess that's also why my hair is sort of the trans flag. I tried, it didn't quite work. The blue is already faded, and I just did it this morning. My nails too, you know, they're chipping, and then this one has paint all over it. But I'm also working on my pride beanie. I'm almost done with it. I'm on the little last section of blue. But yeah, it's got like a cable pattern in it. I like it. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much just stuff that's been on my mind today. I don't know if I'm going to do much more of these little vlog thingies. Excuse me. They're more almost like a diary, because I've never been good at keeping a diary or a journal. Just because actually sitting down and writing something is, I don't have the attention span for that. So I guess it's kind of easier to kind of sit and actually talk, instead of have to write it down, because with writing it down it just takes too long, and then my thoughts get away with me. Facebook. So yeah. I mean, I don't know. I have a couple more paintings in the works. I unraveled that one thing that I showed you in the last update, and I'm making just kind of a general scarf instead. The pattern's really pretty, so right there is kind of what the pattern looks like. There's like a zigzag in the middle, and yeah. So I'm making that instead because it's easier. Did I just pull out? Okay. That's why I pulled it out. Okay, I'll have to fix that then. Okay, whatever. So yeah, I guess that's it for this one. I might do more of these in the future. It depends on how often things like this come up. So, yeah.